Great. Well, thank you, Ellen, and thank you, everybody, for joining us today. The topic implies that sessions intended to help focus on issues and share best practices, examples that could help our partners, win more larger enterprise accounts. Before I kind of get into it, I'll kind of give my Reader's Digest bio, just in case you're wondering, why you should be listening to what this guy has to say. I've been in telecom sales for just a little over 35 years, which certainly makes me sound a lot older than I feel, but I certainly am older than the photo of my kid brother on there. It looks like it could be updated with a little gray speckle. Anyway, I was a founding executive at Telepacific TPX for over 20 years. I ran, channel sales there, ran direct sales there, and obviously that was a long stint, so the company morphed and changed a lot, as did the industry. I also, after that, I started up Eagle Tech Advisors, which is now X4 Advisors. It's a consultancy. We worked with the technology solution distributors, private equity companies, managed service suppliers on go-to-market strategies, but with a key emphasis on channel sales. Then I jumped back into the supplier world, which was my home for the most of my 35 years. And I became the channel chief over at GTT for about a year and a half. But now for the past, a little over the past year, I've been the Senior Vice President of Customer Success here at AireSpring. I'll kind of describe that briefly a little bit later on, but more importantly, let's kind of get into the meat of the presentation. Okay. So, the focus is going to be principally on the customer win case studies that Ellen mentioned. We'll have available for you after the fact. But as part of that, we're going to be, we'll be featuring kind of an overview of AireSpring, but all that's being done to demonstrate how the solutions, the tools, the service, the support, the resources, that helped our partners win these larger deals. And a lot of times it came from areas, within the business. So starting with the overview of AireSpring, AireSpring has been owned and operated for the past 23 years by the Lonstein family. Our CEO, Avi Lonstein, our President and Chief Revenue Officer, Daniel Lonstein, who I directly report to, and then David Lonstein, who's our EVP of Product Management. So they're still, and we are still 100% privately held. We have no outside investment. We are debt-free. We are profitable. And being an owner-operator company makes a big difference to customers, to partners alike. What it does is, because I've seen the other side of that in my past, it avoids making decisions that are based upon short-term P&L reasons that typically occurs with investors and whatever their timeline is that's different than what is the best course of action, for the customer, for the business. And also in my experience, being led by owners, you typically get a more connected commitment to issues that impact customer satisfaction. I know we certainly see that and feel that every day here at AireSpring. So I'm going to touch on some of the service support and tool items that you kind of see on the right. I'm not going to go through those. I'll just highlight a couple quick. We've been a top 3 AT&T Platinum Elite partner for over 10 years. And again, AT&T is one of the many providers we work with. Again, we'll kind of touch on that as well. But we have similar carrier management influence and expertise not only across the carriers, but also the technology partners that we help manage as part of the overall solutions that we provide, for our customers, for our partners. It's also noteworthy to state, because it does differentiate some areas in the channel. We are 100% and have always been 100% sales through our trusted technology advisors. We don't have an expensive direct sales force and the conflict that comes with it. As far as marketing budgets, relatively modest, I would say, compared to most, because you're not going to see our name showing up on any AireSpring sports arenas anytime soon. Instead, our money is much better spent on tools, technology, sometimes trainings for customers, for clients, for partners alike. And then getting into, the solutions, you got to have meaningful technology and solutions that the customers are after. Unfortunately, we've been in that space, in that business for quite some time, even as it's evolved. And AireSpring has stayed with that evolution. So at a high level, AireSpring is a next generation technology solution management company. We help businesses scale and optimize their telecom and IT networks We offer a complete set of networking, connectivity, communications, and security solutions, all from a single provider, one point of contact, one invoice. So the connectivity options, and I'm not going to go too deep into all these things. We have other forums, for these types of training. But from a connectivity standpoint, we have all sorts of aggregation flavors of wireline, wireless, 4G, LTE, 5G, fixed wireless, satellite. Starlink is now part of our portfolio, and we offer capabilities for effective and agnostic resilient network design. We have managed SD-WAN. You see some of the key partners we work with, but we have whatever iteration of Velo, VMware, or Broadcom you refer to them as. We have Fortinet, Cisco Meraki. We have SASE with Cato and also Fortinet. We've had voice services, UCAS. We have CCAS with a partnership with 8x8. We have SIP services. So again, all these are areas for discussions and solutions that we can put together for your customers. So one of the things you'll notice at AireSpring, with the names that I had to tread off, every one of these is a proven and tested best of breed Gartner leading technology provider, which we're able to package to create the service value add. I just heard recently one of our top salespeople like to emphasize when he talked about the service experience of the types of solutions we sell is he said that SD-WAN is a practice and not a product. And I kind of like that, so I stole it. And you can really say that for everything we do. Managed connectivity is a practice and not a product. SASE is a practice and not a product. And this has been, for all the years I've been in technology, service, and support and sales is, in our core, we're all service companies, and that's first and foremost. Now we have to leverage the right technology, we got to have the right solutions, but ultimately it comes down to providing a service experience for these customers. So, our managed solutions, the mixing and matching these solutions based upon customer need takes the challenge of management off the customers who never, they never have enough resources, they don't have enough time, let alone budget, to manage all these responsibilities. So it's the combination of these that result in the superior predictable outcomes that far exceed, what they're able to do on their own. But it's not easy, and that's why we're in an industry that's not common, is known sometimes for commonly known service values and frustration. So we got to work hard to stay away from that. Now, we have a lot of these supplier trainings that I talked about. So any of these topics I touched on that you don't feel like you're comfortable to bring up to your client, and you don't have to be an expert at everything. That's why you leverage resources. We'll talk about that. But please take advantage of it. We're certainly happy to assist you with that as well. So, at our core, and we talked about the managed connectivity, AireSpring is a single source provider aggregator of domestic and global internet services. This will continue to be an effective launch vehicle to get into clients, to pivot to broader managed solution discussions. So now to enable your efforts to get entrenched in that, and we have connectivity and redundancy options in over 190 countries with direct agreements with over 200 ISPs and carriers globally. We provide easy quote capabilities, for our partners. And for our internal team using our QuoteSpring tool for our domestic circuits. For more complex deals, large deals, international, we would go through our special pricing group to review and make sure we provide the best price and the most accurate price that's out there for you. Now, in these examples and in many other areas, always go out to your channel management team as your principal point of support. So now offering this type of variety that we have, it kind of really fits nicely with the partner community because we can be agnostic as far as what is the best option for connectivity for the client. And being agnostic because they can mix and match as need be, whatever is the best fit for their requirement, for their need based on where they're located, really fits nicely with the advantages that the partners bring to customers. And what resonates is that you are agnostic and therefore you can provide what is best for them. Now, for our multi-location enterprise accounts, the customer experience lifecycle that I'll touch on here it's really extra critical to making some of these sales. I'll emphasize this in a couple different ways, and we'll hear it in case studies. Now, at AireSpring, we've kind of perfected our formula, and it's something that you're always working on, always adjusting, certainly as the market changes, the technology changes, and you evolve and scale. But so we really perfected our formula over the last couple decades to deliver an experience that really combines. It's a combination of things. It's tools, but people are always at the foundation of it as well. So our proprietary ITSM software platform, what we call AireControl, which I will touch further on in a moment, and our support-driven culture led by, so we have, especially for our larger, what we call our platinum customers, our larger managed service, multi-location customers, we have our Air product approach of having tier 3 engineers that are dedicated for our customers for their life cycle. And we'll talk about what that means as well. We have carrier management escalation teams as well, and that we leverage all the connections, all the contacts we have at senior levels with our suppliers. Our team who joins us, who work on our behalf, which is on your behalf and your client's behalf, they have a deep knowledge about the unique intricacies of each carrier or technology company we work with. Each one has their own complex, policies and procedures and ways they go about doing their business. And, we maintain, being experts in managing them. It gives us the experience really to best know, what to do and how to do it. Also, it helps us to know when we're being fed nonsense and to call it for what it is, and more importantly, just to get things done on behalf of the situation for our clients and our partners. We also provide I'm talking about people, we provide our clients, a dedicated, skilled project manager for seamless implementation. We have dedicated platinum customer success managers to help quarterback your life cycle at AireSpring while working with the partner community. So, here's a brief overview on AireControl. AireControl is our proprietary AI-powered IT service management platform. We've, spent over 20 years, we've adjusted, and it's really kind of the best of what AireSpring has done over 20 years, all in one platform today. All in, probably spent millions of dollars developing this software that tracks every part of the customer lifecycle from their initial order through post-deployment. It's a single pane of glass. It provides real-time information on every site and every data point, globally for our customers. Just ticking off some of the features that it provides customers: track order status and project management, communicate with the team, see the notes, ability to open and review support cases and status. Again, the ability to communicate and see the notes. Monitor health sites via visual maps, kind of represented there as an example, where you can then drill down into each site and dig into the information there that's relevant to what you're searching for. You can manage invoicing and payment in one group. You can see an inventory of the equipment you have, the circuits, the IP blocks, etc. There's other insights and analytic reporting that's available, and this will constantly be evolving. This is we had an example at our client advisory where we had one partner who said it'd be nice to know when we're dealing with an issue at one of my, in this case they had a couple hundred sites, when it's based upon a power outage in the area. And we worked and we integrated a national service that highlights power outages that are occurring around the country. And so now, someone who's in charge of a network could easily see that that's the issue and not go run around chasing their tail, so to speak, on something that is a known event that's being worked on and that's a power-related matter. So while AireControl is invaluable to customers' post-sales tools, but for the purpose of this discussion on winning deals, I want to emphasize that it is, and it has been and will be, it's a critical part of the upfront sales experience. When you're trying to go after these multi-location clients, highlighting this tool, showing its capability, demonstrating this tool for customers at the front end so they can understand what they will have at their disposal to help them manage, their complex network that they need to support their businesses. The IT decision makers, they view this as a game changer for how they're able to have confidence in visibility in what needs to be done and what they're dealing with in their business. So, one of the things that, again, I'll state, if you haven't seen this tool, please reach out to us for a demo. Obviously, if you have your channel manager, they can be a point person or just reach out to people on this call. And it'll be well worth your time. I know it resonates extremely well with customers. So, at a high level, we talked about, you talk about the solutions, right? And that's always going to be key. You got to there's product, there's price, and and you could meet that to death by saying, well, there's 5 people, here's the product, here's the price. But really, it's the life cycle experience that they will have regarding the solution that really should be a big part of the emphasis that you have in the process. Now, at AireSpring, our solution is multifaceted. It's we approach differently day zero, which is kind of the pre-sales aspect of working with solution architects in the design and sales and the pricing and product, whatever the case may be. But then there's day one, which is kind of the rollout, what we call Air Deploy, and then day 2 issues, which is Air Support. But don't let the customer kind of whitewash it to where they assume that every service provider is created equal. And I think you, as the selling person, could help differentiate that by emphasizing the post-sales experience and make that a big part of your sales approach. So, why get involved in managed services? I've had many partners say to me, well, I just like to sell circuits. They're clean, they're simple. And by the way, aren't they much harder to sell, than just selling circuits or whatever transactional service that they might have been selling in the past? Well, they don't really have to be, which I'll show you a little bit later. But they certainly are the key to selling these larger deals with enterprise clients. The good news is that our AireSpring, including our industry, including AireSpring, has evolved with these offerings. They're in our wheelhouse. There's considerable training, there's considerable support that I mentioned, so that there should be a comfort with you when broaching the subject. But we'll talk about the support that you have out there from companies like AireSpring. So selling managed services also allows you to showcase your value and differentiate you versus somebody saying, what was the quote? Here's this circuit in this location for X price, and you're really not showcasing your value, except somebody just facilitated on their behalf, that type of thing. This enables you to take multiple offerings, put it into a greater solution that's more meaningful to their business. You're going to, in the end, what you'll see is you're going to ease management burden off of their staff, do so at a better ROI for them. The managed services partnerships help take away a lot of pains for clients, both financial and operational, of doing things on their own, which they were accustomed to, prior to a lot of evolution in the products and services that we're able to sell and support. The other aspect of this, kind of on the upper right there, is, well, these deals also come at greater commissions, and not to just emphasize, of course, the commissions or residuals and spiffs, but the other key part of managed services, and I've seen this time and time again in places I've been, these clients are stickier. Multiple service sold into clients are stickier clients. The easiest clients to keep is the one that you already have. Getting out and getting new logos is obviously is valuable, but you don't want to be losing customers out the back end. And when you're showing value and you're dealing with managed services, you're going to have lower attrition rate, and therefore you'll be generating higher commissions for you and your business. So I mentioned ROI advantages to customers a little while ago. One very important factor to understand is that more and more strategic IT leaders today are increasingly opting for these OpEx-based managed services and equipment leasing, versus in the past where CapEx would have been the norm. This shift is really driven by their need for agility, for cost efficiency, for streamlined operations. It lowers their upfront costs, so the barrier to entry to today's new complex managed service solutions, that they require more and more for their business. It offers benefits of scale. It has the ability for them to partner with experts for technology, than worry about, without them worrying about maintaining an expensive staff who must be constantly trained and educated to stay current with these technologies and vendors. There are the types of employees that they would need to have on their staff to manage all this. First off, they're harder to find and they're hard to retain, and that would leave them at a tremendous disadvantage while trying to do it on their own. It allows them to stay on the forefront of innovation about their business and what they provide for their customers without the risk of also being locked into obsolete equipment that, as we know, evolves over time and improves over time. So, opting for managed services and leasing means that CIOs could leverage the external expertise, reduce IT complexity, reallocate internal resources, and this is a critical one, is reallocate internal resources to those more strategic initiatives for their business to enhance their own user experience and to help them be competitive in the marketplace. None of these businesses, no matter how big they are, they never have enough staff and budget. And this is an opportunity for them to de-risk both of those issues and allow them to continue to grow and evolve in their business. So, one thing I would ask is, or mention is that in the process, don't be afraid to ask them about that. Ask them about their budget, goals and or challenges. What would they do with more budget? About their staffing, are there limitations they have because of staffing? What about the workload that they have? And, everybody has them, they do too, but the difference is that you're going to come in with the solutions that we're able to do in our industry with the services I kind of touched on, and you're going to be able to assist them in it. So here are some of the top brands and enterprise customers that trust AireSpring to keep them connected and protected. There's really no shortage of these opportunities out there. This is, you can see across multiple industries, here, finance, banking, hospitality, healthcare, retail, manufacturing, government. These are the targets that you want. They typically have a common denominator. They're all multi-location type services. And this is what you want to have to grow your portfolio. We happen to have a great track record of winning these types of deals every single month. And therefore we have references and opportunities available for you in your vetted opportunities. So we'd be happy to share that with you along with the case studies that we'll talk about in just a moment. So we'll go through that. And again, the focus is going to be on the challenges, the objections, the solution drivers that we had with them, highlighted by, what did we do and what did we leverage to help, win that deal. And the one thing I'm going to share as a theme that you'll hear is, never lose alone. Don't feel like you need to be the hero. Engage your channel manager to pull in the AireSpring resources that we have. And that could apply outside of AireSpring, but for the purposes of our call, I'll focus on the AireSpring resources. But, you'll see that in all these cases, that one of the common denominators is it takes a group of people to help bring these large, complex deals across the line. All right, so our first case study, this happens to be a 243 location national retailer of books, happens to be the second largest bookseller in the United States. You can see they wanted, what is common, they wanted a single source solution. They wanted, a vendor to own and be accountable for all their locations. As will be a recurring theme, the discussion for the ultimate solution we got, it started with a redesign of their voice and data network with our solution engineer, whiteboarding sessions, and we sit there and strategize. You can't give an answer, a product and a price until you sit there and talk to them about what they're looking to achieve, what do they have, where are they looking to go, obviously digging into what makes their services unique as to how they go about delivering their service. So one of the things is, and again, I can't tell you how many times I hear about cases where we have a channel manager supporting a partner who has us at arm's length, and we don't have a sales engineer involved in the discussion with the client. When we hear that, we just hear that's a low probability percent of closing. And so again, always, always, always have your channel manager include the sales engineer, bring them into the fold to assist in those types of conversations. In this particular deal, we actually brought in one of the big guns here. We had our Senior Vice President of Technology, Mike Chase, whose training sessions maybe some of you have been a part of in the past, who engaged in this and visited multiple times, and that tremendously helped with the credibility as well as making the customer feel comfortable in the solution that we were providing them. So they needed to improve resiliency, cost-effective primary and backup connectivity using DIA, broadband, wireless. Again, right in our wheelhouse, we were able to fully leverage our multi-carrier relationships and capabilities. Fortinet in this case was selected for on-premise managed security and SD-WAN, getting the benefits of the firewall and SD-WAN without having them have to purchase. Again, they don't have to be the CapEx. They don't have to put into an OpEx model. They don't have to be responsible for the management of the technology. They have a partner there who's skilled in doing so to help and support them. Also, in this case, also for their voice needs at their retail locations, we provided a UCaaS solution across all those locations. We standardized what was kind of a mishmash of different solutions that they had on on-prem systems. So of course it gets packaged with, great pricing, real competitive. We have to unify all the technology, and certainly they get to bill and get support from one provider. So I love this quote. I love any quote from a client that says that we're helping their business the way they had hoped and that we would. But when we deliver their solution, the quote highlights really it speaks to the understated client goal that they don't always say at the front end. They want to look at the technology, they want to look at the price, but really they were looking for a partnership and not just a vendor. And I think that is the ultimate compliment you can get. So you can see the quote down below is that we were looking for a partnership, not just a vendor. Avoid the trap of being used for a price and quote. And the quote shows below that we achieved this goal. That any managed service provider would be looking to become a partner, not a vendor, and that you're meeting their customer service expectations for what are complex networks. This next was the healthcare provider. It was a recent win, actually one of our more recent wins, last couple of months. Initially, they were only considering us for connectivity for 41 locations, 3,100 users. And by the way, getting a 41 location connectivity sale would be nice, in the grand scheme of things. But when engaging with our technical engineering leadership, you're having that conversation, you're having that whiteboard, we uncovered more objectives that they were looking to meet, and also some of the challenges that we believe we could support. And that again stemmed from having the technical team there with you, having those discussions. Now, the typical issues we had to address, they had CapEx budget challenges, they had a small IT staff, bandwidth, speed, latency issues, difficult to manage, disparate networks and firewall solutions of the past. They didn't have a pane of glass capability for management of this, broad network. And they, of course, a common issue and concern is their security challenges amongst their on-site and remote users. So the planning dialogue uncovered that the CIO, actually wanted to modernize their network for today, but really they want to lay a foundation for an evolving future needs of where they're going as a business. And bandwidth alone just wouldn't have achieved that goal. It might have just gotten a piece of the pie, and again, that's not bad. But when you could, deliver the whole pie, that's really the ultimate goal here. So in this case, we matched our connectivity with Cato's SASE Secure Access Service Edge, and it was really a perfect fit. We were able to eliminate, vendor sprawl, a single vendor management solution that could grow with their changing needs. Again, the OpEx budget capabilities. So we delivered cost savings over their past design, flexibility for future growth, leverage a single provider solution. So we brought in disparate items, but all under our logo, our brand, our service and support model, which was invaluable. Now, this final solution took what was, again, a nice connectivity deal, but increased the deal value by $500,000 a month, or do the math, $600,000 a year over over a 3-year term. I'll let you guys do that math on your own. But anyway, significant more value, significant more greater win, much stickier customer. Now, as part of this, a customer hands over a network like this, we needed to address, and we did spend considerable time talking about our pod support. What happens after day one? The dedicated team that they have access to throughout their client lifecycle, the 360-degree visibility and control that I mentioned with Air Control were absolutely essential to win this business. So again, make sure you highlight the feature of lifecycle management capabilities. Without that, we could have talked about the product and we could have talked about the price, all day long, but that is really what helped bring this deal over the line. Okay, here's one that we got introduced to one of our valued TSD partners, brought us into 59 locations, 9 data center global insurance company. They have 6,000 employees. And their challenge was, diverse global network, managed SD-WAN needs. And again, we had our SEs go in there, did a whiteboarding session with their IT team, talk through where they're looking to go, what they have today, what would be ideal. And in it, when all was said and done, we upgraded the legacy TDM technology with primary and backup connectivity. We paired it with global managed SD-WAN capabilities. It's a redundant global network. It's all the sites. We put high availability SD-WAN out there, so 2 devices on-prem to, again, de-risk their business for added redundancy. We replaced what was state-of-the-art years back, but an IT and labor-intensive MPLS network. And their number that they shared is we helped them save $11 million a year with this technology overhaul. So securing, so anyway, we were able to allow the client to focus on their business, and we're an active partner with them in the management of this global network. The launch of this service, we deployed 182 of these circuits in just 1 year and rolled it out. And the other great line that the customer shared that makes a great quote is that they had 70 sites were implemented, and nobody outside their IT team even knew there was a transition. So that is, knock on wood, that's what you look forward to whenever you're deploying services out for a client, and we were able to achieve it here. So highlighting the project management team and the approach to how we go about it in the front end helped build the credibility that ultimately we delivered upon, but it all came from them having the confidence to hand a project like that over, whether it's to you, the partner, obviously working with the solution provider that you have chosen. Manufacturing, so Global Metals Manufacturing Company, 125 locations, 5 continents, 7,000 employees. Similar story, want to standardize technology, 1 vendor. Replace MPLS, they're still out there, and those great opportunities for you to provide a better solution and better price. They needed global transport, internet, backbone design to be able to view and manage it. And they wanted to secure all these globally with a single provider, again, for ease of management. Dealing with vendor sprawl is incredibly challenging when you're dealing with this many locations and the types of locations they are. So we delivered a suite of services here. The primary backup, the global SD-WAN, in this case, Fortinet as well. The air control and air monitor capabilities that we provide were invaluable for them to have that confidence to come on board. The technical expertise displayed by our solution engineers during the whiteboard session was critical to convincing them to come on board and have the confidence to go to the solution, A, in general, and B, of course, with AireSpring. So, and we delivered upon all those goals for the customer. That last deal we just talked about, here's a great example of the types of Visios that you could expect when working with AireSpring that have been out there. To me, I view Visio, I'm not a very good artist, and to me, I view these as works of art. To me, they're critical to the complex sales process. Our solution engineers, who help lead the whiteboarding design discussions for you, we leverage these to walk through and vet the design and visibly go through it and see it and make sure it meets the needs that they're looking for. In my past, I've even blown these up onto a poster board size when we had the final design, and I've given it to the customer as something as a leave behind in their office, so that they take a lot of pride in what they are, getting and delivering to their own company. But it's the cloud, the networks are in the cloud. This is a nice physical, visual representation of something that allows them to display it proudly or even share internally with their business. And it reminds them of, the value that, you and your partner, in this case, AireSpring, will deliver for them. And I'm sure, and I haven't asked our marketing team, but I'm sure we'd be happy to co-brand something like that, even with you and your business. Okay, this next provider is another global company looking to create multiple legacy networks inherited from acquisitions. So acquisitions are always great selling opportunities. A lot of challenges come from those types of clients out there. Showcasing our ability as a single point provider was critical here. Reducing the management burden of having multiple ISP environments was a big pain point. And again, the solution we provide obviously provides that for them. The other part is even paying bills and processing and managing multiple vendors with those bills was a challenge for them. So we were able to, fix that for them. The air control platform, again, resonated very strongly at the front end for them. And so make sure you always demo it. The real-time monitoring, omni-channel alert capabilities they have access to for peace of mind. Again, post day one is tremendous. and they can keep track of their their network health. So this solution, 140 locations, 22 countries. Again, another company that was growing by acquisition. Vendor sprawl. They needed better connectivity, different diversity, security. They had very tight deadlines. And this one, actually, I wanted to highlight that we rolled out Starlink for some immediate connectivity needs that they had. So again, that may not be something that you've been involved with in the past with Starlink. We added Starlink to our portfolio. Why? Because we heard from our partners, we heard from our customers that this was a solution that could play a part in what they need to do for their businesses. So we put in here a fully managed, redundant Fortinet secure SD-WAN at every site. Again, there was a big emphasis here on our ability to improve support with our dedicated tier 3 engineering pods. And I'll speak in a minute as to what that means for them. But the full monitoring capability and getting access to our platinum SLAs that I'll touch on in a moment. And the last one I include is kind of unique. We helped this partner win a customer account that required service to some U.S. federal entities inside of Iraq. And the original request is just for us to provide SD-WAN and Fortinet. So the partner was able to find somebody that could provide those services inside Iraq. Certainly, not the easiest place to do business. So the partner brought in AireSpring, and due to our, unusually strong relationship with VMware, our global SE team was able to, after many meetings, to get VMware to approve to provide those services in the SD-WAN service inside Iraq. But also talking to the SE team and the channel management team and our wholesale team who interface with our carrier partners, we determined that we could provide the primary and backup connectivity as well in Iraq. We had 2 400 meg DIA circuits, also with satellite backup to reduce the customers, and it actually reduced their existing connectivity, even though I can assure you it was not an inexpensive, connection, for those sites. Now I got to admit, I do have mixed feelings about this deal, only because at the time that I think it was won by AireSpring, I was at another provider, and I was actually on the losing side of this deal. And now being here, I understand the why of it. It was the AireSpring's creativity, the aggressiveness, the access to all the people it took to be able to put this type of decision, put this type of solution together in a credible, competent manner for the customer. So I'm going to get back to the importance of the service and support during the sales process. So we have our AirDeploy, which is our day one post-sales implementation process. Again, you get to find a dedicated project manager, dedicated tier 3 engineer. Again, we've incredible discipline as to how we manage and deploy those services. We have a regular cadence to communicate status, update with meetings, and project status documents to customers. We'll customize that based on our client needs and the project rollout. We have on-site technicians anywhere available at any time to support the needs. Again, critical to feature this in the front end, because buying it is one thing, integrating it to where you can get a quote by that other customer where it says your transition was seamless. And again, that's not always the case in our industry, but we wish it was. But I think that just adds value to, again, you as someone who's focused on that on behalf of their business. Now, one of the things I would state is during the sales process, get to know the service delivery leadership. So you could speak first person about the support. Now, maybe you have clients with us already, so you can already do that. But if not, bring them in and bring them into calls with the clients. It's very meaningful to be able to connect names, using a video, faces, obviously having contact information for the people who actually will be leading that type of effort, along with a project manager who will be running it for them. So share in detail what day one experience would be like, help remove the mystery and what they see as a potential current concern or risk. So the platinum multi-location, once everyone's deployed, we move to day 2, air support. Again, they get the dedicated tier 3 engineering pod. So it's basically the same tier 3 engineering team who work to deploy will continue and stay involved in the account, ongoing with them, so that we don't lose the knowledge. And it's handed off to somebody who's an 800 number and a frontline person who doesn't know about it. These platinum customers will have access to these people, and it eliminates the pain of having to explain the design and the solution that they have. Instead, they get to talk to the people who help implement these complex managed services that we put in place. The types of SLAs that come from this type of approach are very meaningful, and again, worth sharing on the front end for customers. But 10-minute tier 3 engineering engagement, escalation to senior management within 2 hours, 1 hour change management, next day equipment replacement, auto support cases open within 10 minutes of alarm. Again, those are great things to have from a service and support standpoint, but they're great to have in the sales part of the business. Now, we feature, we really don't have a better SLA and peace of mind as a client knowing who to go to, for support. So this is available to all our customers. It's on our website. We provide it. Contact information is there all the way up to the COO, the president, the CEO. We are a hands-on business. And for large customers, to have the operational team leaders, including the C-suite, engaged up front, so you're forging those relationships again, to help close the deal, let alone to be there to support the deal ongoing. So here are some of the leaders, that make up, some of the core of the operational organization. One of the things that I would view that long-standing successful relationships, the key is for folks like this, and even for our C-suite, the founders of the business, to be accessible, accountable, and responsive. And at AireSpring, we do meet that. I'm just going to highlight a few of these folks. So recently joining us is Steve Wolid. So Steve just joined us after 25 years at AT&T, where in his last role, he was running AT&T's wholesale service delivery department. So when we had our senior executive escalation that we needed AT&T, that basically went to Steve and his team. So now he's on our side of the fence, working on our behalf. So needless to say, AT&T is a big partner of ours, and when we need something done at AT&T, we know this, just like we have expertise in the business to know where to go and who to go to. Russ Shipley's our COO. I had the good fortune of working alongside Russ at Telps and TPX for nearly 15 years when he ran all of operations engineering. He's a big reason why I'm here today, along with the respect I've always had for the Lonstein family, AireSpring, their commitment to the channel, and really feedback that I've heard over the years from our partner community. And Wendell Nelson is kind of the guy behind the scenes in a lot of cases, except for the big customer, but he has our SVP of Strategic Partnership and Wholesale. So he's our point of management for carrier vendors and relationships, and he's wired into the wholesale community and has been for many years. So I'll just touch on the customer success team that I oversee with our long-tenured Vice President of Customer Success, Yvonne Napoleon. These success managers are there for them. They're ready to help them anytime they need to meet their goals. Now, if you have a service delivery issue, you have a service assurance issue, you have other vehicles to go for that service. But if there are issues that need different eyeballs on it, you could always escalate to your customer success manager, to Yvonne, to myself. The team's emphasis is simple. It's about helping customers grow, helping support them, helping renew them, and keeping them sticky. And we work alongside our partners, again, being 100% client partner focused. That is how we work to assure and that we have the best touch points with a customer to meet their needs. And from a team standpoint, I think Ellen referred to the fact that if you're not connected to one of our channel managers anywhere out in the country, we have a team of superstars that we'd certainly love to connect you with. We also have long-standing relationships with all the major TSDs, so we're always at those events. I think Ellen mentioned some of the events, but please reach out and we'll connect you. This is the SE team. I talked about the impact that they have. Again, on the front end selling, please reach out, make sure they get included. They could take a connectivity only deal and transform it into one of these managed services that we talked about. So kind of the final slide I'll touch on is that, in summary, kind of wraps it up, is just never lose alone. Leverage the vast resources. Dedicate, we actually have, I didn't even talk about, we have a dedicated large deal team. So anytime you bring up a large deal, we'll call it, say, $5,000, $10,000 a month or more, multi-location, certainly managed services type of, complex deals. We have a large deal team that works with the channel management team that interfaces with every resource in our business that's needed to win those types of deals. And it does take a wide variety of people, whether it's product, whether it's legal language, whether it's the technology aspect, whether it's pricing. maybe working with our vendors. They help make that happen and provide executive oversight in the front end of the relationship. So make sure you include the executives. Matter of fact, Avi Lonstein, our CEO, he offers our partners a $1,000 bonus for any deal over $20,000 where you could set up a sales meeting on the front end with a decision maker, and you can get a $1,000 bonus. I think 500 right out of the gate and 500 when it closes. So please, please, please take advantage of it. They will make a difference as far as the likelihood of you winning and closing those types of deals. I talked about the team leaders. They're available in the front end as well. The solution engineers, we've talked about that. The air control, we touched on that and how valuable that is in the process. And again, not just talking about it, but demo it. When they see it, play with it, understand its capabilities, they're going to see how that will be of big importance to what they do. The special pricing, we have marketing materials. And again, the last piece is really to make sure you demonstrate with confidence the 24/7, 365 life cycle support, because right now they can't really imagine what it'd be like with this new provider that they don't have, replacing what they have. Go out of your way, introduce them to the project manager who can walk them through it. Introduce them to a leader in our service assurance group to explain how we deal with trouble tickets. And of course, leverage the references we have to back up, the types of commitments that you're looking to make, because, they would want to trust but verify. So please lean on us for that. We'd certainly be happy to help. So Ellen, with that, I'm going to hand it back to you. I'm not sure if we have any questions on this. I know I got about 10 minutes left, and I know you have a couple other items you want to hit. So you let us know what we want to do.
Thank you, Ken. That was a really nice overview. Thank you very much. We do not have any questions in the question window pane. So, folks, if you'd like to ask Ken a question or have him go into more detail about something, please feel free to enter a question there. A lot of recurring themes in the case studies, Ken. I think the two important points that I got out of it were never lose alone, and partnering with the different divisions within AireSpring and people is very key, and we're very eager to partner with our partners on these deals. And the other thing was a lot of these deals start out as connectivity deals and grow into much larger opportunities for the TSD and the agent partner. So this is something to always, I think, key is to get the solutions engineering team involved, as they do ask a lot of good questions and get people to take a look at their networks and their overall IT topology to find out where improvements can be made, where there might be holes. And as he's mentioned, Mike Chase, Clinton Devereaux, Steven Sigmund, these are key members of our solutions engineering team. They are certified experts in their field. So that is key. They're willing and able to help you at any time. Okay, we just got a question. What is the minimum spend for large deal? How do we classify?
I'll touch on that. And again, okay, we're happy with the spend of any size with customers, but for large deal, kind of 5,000 would be, at the low level, not low level, but at the kind of the entry line for what is a large deal. However, there are complex solutions though sometimes with global that we would still consider it large or more of a complex managed services depending on the application they're acquiring. Our platinum customers that we classify typically $10,000 or above is what falls into that category.
Okay. Now, we've got a question about great presentation and overview of your capabilities for larger deals. Were you going to talk about sales strategies for selling up market?
Well, not on this call. I'd like to think I touched on to agree. I mean, selling up market is not just, being a quote house and kind of talking about solutions that are more broad for helping the customer with their needs. That we touched on a bunch of it from a bunch of different the case studies that we talked about. But I think by displaying that that's the types of solutions they were able to provide those businesses, get you into those conversations, with the CIOs of these larger deals. But again, it is tough for any individual, a single consultant, although some of our consultants out there, quite frankly, have tremendous experience and backgrounds and resumes. their ability to engage, but to be able to bring in other technology resources to have whiteboard discussions with them. By doing a whiteboard discussion, it's a non-threatening sales call, if you really think about it. And I think a lot of these started by being whiteboard discussions. Let's talk about the future of where this technology is going. And it's not a training, it's not a sales pitch. And then they kind of start to fill in where they're at and where they're looking to go. So I think those are a lot of the common denominators on how you go up market. Obviously, the partner community, those are the ones who have to network and get the meetings and have the conversations, and that's that's the DNA that is the partner community, and that's why it's so valuable.
Okay, thanks, Ken. We have another question. Question basically is AireSpring competitive in U.S. based deals only, or in international deals? More so in
In both.
international.
We've been international for many years, and we're very competitive. Again, I talked about that one deal that I know I lost while working at a global company. So no, they're very competitive. Again, different products, different services, different areas, but we have tremendous buying capability and buying influence. From a global connectivity standpoint, and we're priced very competitive.
Okay, great, thank you. Any additional questions? Feel free to add on. We've got a little bit of time left. We do have a brief company update that follows, but that's very, very quickly. Remind people we're waiting to see if we have another question. Don't forget to fill out the survey at the end, because we will enter your name into the drawing for the $100 Amazon gift card, and we do award that every month. The webinar was recorded, so we will send out a link to those who registered, not just those who attended, for replay. And if you'd like the deck, we can include a PDF version of the deck as well.
Now, and I'll just plug my email address. So,
Sure.
Ken, KEN.Bisnoff, BISNOFF, @airspring.com. So feel free, send me notes offline. Happy to engage and talk. And in a lot of cases, bring, another, AireSpring peer of mine to the table for you to address and dig into anything specific that you may have for any unique situation that you're dealing with.